Everyone wants to win, but not everyone does. Do you know why? Because the only difference between winners and quitters is this. Quitters stop when it's hard, and winners keep going until it's worth it. Today, I want to share a simple truth that has shaped the destiny of countless lives. The difference between winners and quitters is not about talent, intelligence, or luck. It is about choices, consistency, and mindset. Both winners and quitters face challenges, both feel pain, both experience setbacks. But how they respond to those moments determines everything. Let's break it down into 7 key differences. Winners see failure as feedback, quitters see it as final. Failure is the universal test that life gives everyone. Nobody escapes it. The difference is not in whether you fail, but in what you do after failing. Quitters see failure as a dead end. They take one setback and tell themselves, "This is proof I can't do it." They let embarrassment, fear, or judgment convince them that trying again is useless. For them, failure becomes the closing chapter. Winners, however, have a completely different perspective. To a winner, failure is not the end, it's information. It's a lesson disguised as pain. They understand that every failure carries a clue about what doesn't work, and that clue is what guides them toward improvement. Thomas Edison's journey with the light bulb is the perfect example. Over 10,000 unsuccessful attempts, but instead of saying, "I failed," he reframed it as, "I discovered 10,000 ways that don't work." That mindset turned failure into progress. When you treat failure as feedback, you unlock growth. You stop fearing mistakes, and instead you start asking, "What can I learn? How can I adjust? What's the next step?" Winners know that failure is temporary, but quitting makes it permanent. That's why they keep going until the breakthrough comes. Winners focus on the goal, quitters focus on the obstacles. Every person on the path to success will face obstacles, doubts, setbacks, financial struggles, criticism, even self-discipline battles. The difference lies in attention. Quitters put all their energy into staring at the obstacles. They make the problem so big in their minds that the goal feels impossible. The challenge becomes their excuse to stop. But winners redirect their attention. They acknowledge the obstacles, yes, but they don't let them dominate their vision. Instead, they focus on where they're going, not on what's blocking the way. It's like driving a car. If you stare at the pothole, you'll drive right into it. If you focus on the road ahead, you'll steer past it. The same applies in life. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. History is filled with examples. Think of athletes training for championships. The early mornings, the pain, the injuries, those are massive obstacles. Quitters give in, but winners visualize the trophy, the finish line, the legacy. That vision pulls them through the pain. The goal becomes stronger than the excuses. When you fix your eyes on the vision, obstacles shrink in power. They don't disappear, but they no longer control you. Winners understand that the dream is bigger than the difficulty, and that mindset keeps them moving forward while quitters stay stuck where they are. Winners stay consistent, quitters chase motivation. Motivation is exciting, but it's also unreliable. Quitters live on bursts of motivation. They get inspired by a speech, a book, or a sudden idea, and for a few days they push hard. But when the excitement fades, so does their effort. They wait for the right mood or the perfect time to act, and while waiting, opportunities slip away. Winners, on the other hand, understand that motivation is temporary, but consistency creates results. They don't depend on feelings, they depend on discipline. Winners show up even when they're tired, uninspired, or doubtful. They know success isn't about what you do once in a while, it's about what you repeat daily. Think about fitness. Anyone can work out for a week with high energy, but only those who stay consistent for months and years see transformation. The same goes for business, studies, or skill building. Consistency compounds. Small daily actions turn into big results over time. Quitters misunderstand this truth. They think winners must always feel motivated. But winners don't wait to feel ready, they act first. They build habits that carry them when their feelings fail. That's why winners rise while quitters fall. So the real power isn't in chasing motivation, it's in building consistency. Winners are ordinary people who master the art of showing up, day after day, until discipline becomes automatic and results become inevitable. Winners adapt, quitters resist change. Life is never a straight line. The world is constantly shifting, technology evolves, industries transform, circumstances change. The people who win are those who can bend without breaking. Quitters, however, cling to comfort. They resist change because it feels uncertain, uncomfortable, or risky. and that resistance eventually leaves them stuck. Winners embrace change as part of growth. They understand that what worked yesterday may not work tomorrow, and instead of fighting the change, they adjust their strategies. When one plan fails, they don't throw away the dream, they simply change the method. Their vision remains the same, but their approach evolves. Look at history. Companies that refused to adapt, like Blockbuster, disappeared. Meanwhile, companies like Netflix, which embraced change and innovation, thrived. The same principle applies to individuals. Winners don't fear reinvention. They see it as necessary for survival and success. On a personal level, adaptation also means being flexible in the face of setbacks. If one door closes, winners don't sit there banging on it forever. They look for another door or build one themselves. Quitters, on the other hand, see the closed door and assume the journey is over. The truth is, change is not the enemy. Change is the invitation to grow. Winners accept that they must keep learning, keep adjusting, keep evolving. Quitters resist it, and that resistance becomes their downfall. Adaptability is the secret weapon of winners. It keeps them moving when the world tries to hold them back. Winners believe in possibility. Quitters believe in limitation. The mind is the battlefield where winning or quitting is decided long before any action is taken. Quitters are prisoners of their own thoughts. They convince themselves that success is for other people, the talented, the lucky, the privileged. They focus on everything they lack. Not enough money, not enough support, not enough experience. Their belief system chains them down before they even begin. Winners, however, choose a different belief. They may face the same doubts, but they refuse to be ruled by them. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" they ask, "What if I succeed?" That simple shift in belief opens doors of possibility. They understand that no one starts perfectly ready. Readiness is built on the journey. Consider great innovators, athletes, or entrepreneurs. Many began with limited resources, but they carried one essential ingredient: belief. Belief in their vision. Belief that their effort would pay off. That belief fueled their courage to take action, and that action created results. It wasn't certainty, it was faith in possibility. Quitters see limitations and stop. Winners see limitations and say, "Okay, this is where I am, but it's not where I'll stay." That inner conviction separates those who try once and give up from those who keep moving until the impossible becomes possible. At the core, the difference is simple. Quitters believe in walls, winners believe in doors. And when there is no door, winners believe they can build one. Winners take responsibility, quitters make excuses. One of the clearest dividing lines between winners and quitters is how they handle setbacks. Quitters almost always look outward for someone to blame. They say things like, "The economy is bad. Nobody supported me. I didn't get lucky." Excuses become their shield, protecting their ego but destroying their progress. The problem with excuses is that they hand away your power. If everything is someone else's fault, then nothing is in your control. And if nothing is in your control, you cannot change your situation. Winners, however, take the opposite approach. They accept full responsibility for their lives. Even when circumstances are unfair, even when setbacks are caused by factors outside their control, winners ask, "What can I do now? How can I improve? What's the next move?" By taking responsibility, they keep ownership of their future. They may not control everything, but they control their response. And that makes all the difference. Think about two people starting the same business. One blames customers, market conditions, or competition when things go wrong. The other studies their mistakes, improves their product, learns new skills, and tries again. Guess which one eventually wins? The one who refuses to hide behind excuses. Responsibility doesn't mean beating yourself up. It means being honest about your role and taking action to correct it. Quitters escape responsibility because it's easier in the moment, but in the long run, it costs them their dreams. Winners embrace responsibility because it's harder at first, but it gives them control over their destiny. The truth is simple. Excuses keep you stuck. Responsibility sets you free. Winners finish what they start. Quitters stop when it gets hard. This is perhaps the greatest difference of all. Quitters give up the moment things get uncomfortable. They start with excitement, but when the work becomes boring, when the results are slow, or when the pain feels too heavy, they walk away. They never give themselves the chance to see what's on the other side of the struggle. Winners, however, have one defining quality: they finish. They may move slowly, they may face setbacks, they may even feel like quitting, but they don't stop. They understand that success is not about starting. It's about enduring until the job is done. Winners know that the last mile is always the hardest, but it's also where the victory lives. Think about a marathon runner. The first few miles are fueled by energy and excitement. But in the middle, exhaustion kicks in. Many stop there. Winners push through the fatigue because they know the finish line is waiting. That last push, the one most people avoid, is what creates champions. The same truth applies in life, business, and personal goals. Anyone can begin a project, a dream, or a journey, but very few finish it. Winners hold on through the storms, through the delays, through the disappointments. They understand that persistence doesn't guarantee instant success, but quitting guarantees permanent failure. That is why winners stand out. They simply refuse to stop when it gets hard. They stay until it's done. They know the pain of discipline lasts for a season, but the pride of finishing lasts forever.